Hello, good evening, and welcome to INNOVA Entrepreneurship Summit 2020. I'm Kwame Adomako Kwabea, CEO of Entrepreneurial College, and also a partner to PA2 IT Consult. Now, the whole concept of INNOVA Entrepreneurship Summit came up as I realized personally and other colleagues that we've struggled through to become better entrepreneurs, basically because we didn't have the knowledge that was requisite. Now, having come this far, we've not gotten there yet. We feel and believe that others have to also be given relevant knowledge so that they would keep a shorter time to get to where we have gotten to. And that's why this whole concept of INNOVA Entrepreneurship Summit was thought through. Now, in this summit, we'll be looking at 5 different topics on 5 different days. Today is day 1, and I'll be looking at attitudinal makeup of successful entrepreneurs. Attitudinal makeup of successful entrepreneurs. Now, the other presenters will be dealing with relevant legal knowledge for CEOs. That is what legal knowledge you need as a CEO to survive and to excel. Marketing skill for successful CEOs, because any product has to be marketed. Without marketing, you can't get your customers and also make the returns that are needed. Then also identifying and nurturing a great workforce for business success. You have staff, you need to identify the right ones, and when you have identified them, they will need some level of training, that is nurturing, and you need to nurture them to give you a great workforce with which you become successful. Then the final topic that we will deal with will be scaling up business or your business with IT. Now, everything is IT. What we are doing now is IT. So how do you scale up your business so that you can do better business? So that will be the final presentation. Now, today, like I said, my theme or topic is attitudinal makeup of successful entrepreneurs. What should be your makeup? What should be your mindset in stepping out to do a business or to undertake an entrepreneurial activity? Now, let me just try to give a definition for entrepreneurship, just to give us the background for what we are doing. So one of the definitions I picked is an entrepreneur is an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risks and enjoying most of the rewards. So he creates a business, he bears most of the risks and enjoys most of the rewards. Now the second meaning that I also got is, it is commonly seen as an innovator, a source of new ideas, goods, services, and businesses or procedures. So the entrepreneur is commonly seen as the innovator, the source of new ideas, the source of new goods, the source of new services, and then the source of new procedures. So that's who the entrepreneur is. Now, per my definition, I don't want to talk about who an entrepreneur is. So I say that he's an individual, or she is an individual, who despite all odds is ready to risk and start a new enterprise or business. Now the key thing is risk, because you don't know how far you will get to. But you've decided that you are ready to make that risk or take that risk and get there. Now let's say that an entrepreneur should not be one with feeble minds, because there are so many challenges on your path to become a successful entrepreneur. If you have a feeble mind, if you are not tough in mind, you cannot get through. And I also say that it comes at a cost, and with risks that we mentioned, it comes at a cost. There's a cost you have to pay. For instance, if you are a public sector worker and you want to step out as an entrepreneur, it comes with some risk. You'd have to invest more time in doing some other things aside from your regular job. Or if you are going full scale, that means you might be leaving a job and getting into that, which means that your activity comes with some cost before you would achieve your aim. Now I say, who should or why should one desire to become an entrepreneur? What are the reasons why you should desire to become an entrepreneur? 1, the key most thing is to solve a problem. If you are not solving a problem, then there's no need. Now, many people in Ghana see one person doing one business and they all jump into it. I remember when we were younger, we had space to space. And then people started and then it was all over. Then people had comm centers and everybody was starting a comm center. Then mobile money and everybody is jumping into mobile money. People are producing sachet water and everybody is jumping into one. people producing it from their backyards, from their garages and everywhere. But you should have a problem you want to solve. You want to solve, not what others are solving. I'm not saying that you cannot repeat what others are doing, but it should generate something that is more of you, not just because others are doing it and are becoming successful. Now, it also gives you the opportunity to unearth your God-given talent. What has God given you to do? Or what has nature planted in you to bring out? That is what, or one of the reasons why you should become an entrepreneur. If you feel a great urge within you to bring out something, then that should urge you on to become an entrepreneur. And also to bring to bear new realities. In our traditional setting, or an African traditional religion, we know only witches fly. But we also know there is the plane. They are aircrafts. The Wright brothers thought it wise that no, because of traffic, because of distance, let's go through the air. Because they are seeing the bird flying, and they feel man can also fly. And then the aircraft came to being. And we are all excited when we are in a plane flying. So that there should be a reality you want to create. People are not seeing that. Like the mobile phone. People are not seeing that I can stand here in Ghana and talk to a brother in US. About 20 years ago, it was not so. But now it's a reality. So you can bring to bear new realities. Then my last point here is to create a source of income. I'm sure many of you watching have that as your major reason why you want to become an entrepreneur. But I bet you, if you make that your sole agenda, you might be disappointed. Because most often the plans that you put on paper in your bedroom doesn't just really turn out to be so when you get out to the field. So these are my points. You first have to have a need in the world you want to solve, to unearth your God-given talent, to bring to bear new realities, and also to create a source of income. And let that be your last reason for becoming or desiring to become an entrepreneur. Now I come to the subject for the evening. Attitudinal makeup of an entrepreneur. What should be your mindset, your psychological state to start a business? So I've captioned it into 3 areas: before you start, then when you begin and you're having the challenges, and then the last step, when you are in it and you are succeeding. What should be your mental or psychological makeup? Now let's take the first one. Before you begin, what should be your mindset? What should you do? What are the things you have to put in place? What should be up here before you begin? Now you need to get the right information. Getting the right information by reading, getting the right information by researching, getting the right information by visiting people in similar businesses. When I chose to start a business in education, I had to teach in a private remedial school to understand what really goes on. And at the same time, I was also teaching in a private nursing school just to understand what they are doing. And I realized what they were doing, what good there was, and then what I can also do better. And then based on that, I was able to start from there. So you need the right information. That should be up here. If you don't get the right information, don't rush to start anything. Then the next point I have here is you need to do proper planning. We all know as the statement goes, lack of planning means that you are preparing to fail. So you fail to plan, then you have planned to fail. So you should plan properly. Don't assume that, oh, we say in the end, Debbie. You need to plan. So this is my step A, that's my step B. If step B doesn't work, I would go to step C. It should be clear in your mind. Other than that, you would jump and then break your leg. Then always also think through the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. There were points that as a public sector worker, I had to pay staff salaries with my own salary from public sector. It was not funny. So you need to think about the worst case scenario. So if it doesn't work out, what do I do? What turns do I take to make myself successful? So you have to think of the worst case scenario. And just thinking about it, what you would do just in case this happens. It should be one of your thoughts. Think through the worst case scenarios and then create how you would get that or you get through such situations. Then your mindset before you start is also you have to be proactive. I always use the MTN Vodafone illustration. When I was younger, Vodafone had come. There were mobile phones for Vodafone with SIMs. Very costly. And many people couldn't buy. People had to queue before they could get one. Then MTN came. Then I think it was Ariba or so. And then they chose to give their SIMs for a very cheap price. Then many people were ready and able to buy SIMs. It was readily available. Eventually, the market share is for MTN. And the other networks are following. You can choose to agree, but that is what really happened. Vodafone had a higher cost for its SIMs, and then MTN had a better price in that or during that time, and then people were able to buy, and many people who couldn't have owned mobile phones successfully got one, so that they have the larger market share. So you have to be proactive. Why should you have to be proactive? Because you have to hit when the iron is very hot. You don't wait for the market to subside before you think of doing it. For instance, take COVID-19. Many people have produced sanitizers. You don't have to wait for COVID to go before you think of producing. You have to come out at the right time before you can really make things work. And that's being proactive. Then my last point here is to think big. Think big, but start small. Now, if you are a new entrepreneur, the excitement might take you over, and you might invest largely into things that you can't manage. For instance, you want to start a business, say a fleet of cars. Then you buy 200 cars of different makes. If the cars get spoiled, which mechanics have you set up to take charge of it? Do you have a place where you are going to buy your spare parts? So you might be good starting with, say, 5. Then you move to 10, then 20, then 50. Because the fact is that entrepreneurship can't really be taught in a classroom. You have to learn on the field. Even after this seminar, you need to implement the things that you are learning, and then gradually you would learn. But if you are an experienced entrepreneur, then certainly you can do very big investments and then get through. So think big. Think very big, like Napoleon Hill says, but start small. Starting small doesn't mean you have been thinking as a mediocre. No, but to make sure that you are taking calculated risk so that you don't mess yourselves up. Then I move on. What should be the mental state, the mindset, when you have gotten to the point when you are into the entrepreneurship stage? So you have begun the thing. What should be your mindset? How should you be thinking? Now, my first point is for you to review your strategy periodically. So you set out to do ABCD. The ABCD plan shouldn't be so throughout. No. You would make mistakes. We all started, we made mistakes, and we had to correct. The fact is that it should be clear in mind that from time to time, maybe monthly, you review what you have done, what you didn't do right, then you change your strategy. You shouldn't just let it be something that you once a while, hey, at the SMBNC, then you go. No. It should be part of your plans that I review my strategies every month, every week, every quarter, then or every 2 months, then it will get you through. So whilst you are doing it, you should be reviewing your strategy periodically. Then get feedback from both your internal and external customers. Your workers are your internal customers. Your clients are your external customers. Ask your colleagues, your workers, how things are going, what should be done. The fact is that the best idea that you will get will not be from you alone. It will be from others who are observing what you do. So you need to talk to them, get feedback from them, and then that would get you to channel your energies through the right path. So always try and get feedback from both your clients who are buying or having a service from you, and then your colleague workers who are your internal customers. Then know when to act and when not with your decisions. There are times you feel, oh, it's me, it's my money that I've used to start. So anything you want to do, then you decide, no, not at all. You need to know when to act and when not to act. There are some times that you can keep mute and observe. There are times that you have to act. The fact that if you are doing self-assessment every time, then you know that, no, this is the time for me to act. Okay, no, this staff, he's becoming a little sluggish. Let me understand why he's doing that. He's coming to work late. You don't just wake up and then just throw words out there. Try and understand, and then they would also understand you. So you need to know when to act and then when not to act. Now, one point I also have here is for you to respect your workforce with whom you are working. The fact that they would make or unmake you. If they feel that, well, boss, when you tell him anything, he doesn't take it, sooner, very key things will happen. Nobody will tell you. Nobody will tell you. But if you have very good rapport with them and you are treating them well, then you can get them to do things your way. Sometimes it might not be even the amount of money you are paying, but the respect that you show them and the fact that you are ready to listen to their ideas will get them to become loyal to you. So respect your workforce. We're talking about workforce later, but respect your workforce if you want to sustain what you have started. Then scale up gradually, not in a rush. So when you realize things are going on, so you were selling, say, you have a cafeteria, you were selling banku and soup. Then you realize that, oh, now people want tilapia, then you add banku and tilapia. Then the next time people want, say, banku and okra soup, then you start. Then all of a sudden, one person, you are preparing about 10 meals a day, which is practically not possible. So you should scale up, yes. But don't be in a rush to scale up because you feel like, oh, business is now booming. Let me add this product. Let me add that product. Let me add this product. You are better off with one product which is excelling than to have about 10 products which is not excelling. For instance, myself, when I started, I had so many courses running. I realized at the point that, no, this is my niche program. This is my best location. So let me push more energy into it. Then eventually, I scaled down and I knew the things that I had to do. And gradually, it has kept me getting better. So scale up, but do that gradually, not in a rush. That's a very important point. I know people who have scaled up and all of a sudden the whole business tumbles down. So scale up, but not in a rush. Then my last point to sustain you whilst you have begun and then you are now striving to get through is to learn. Learn and learn. You know that learning has no end, not necessarily classroom learning. Learning on the job, learning how to do the work. You need to learn every day of the chore that you're doing. Every step of the way, you need to learn. Whatever you are doing, you need to learn. You don't need to keep yourself with the previous knowledge that you have. Now, there are so many resources. You can go online, Google big entrepreneurs who have succeeded, read about their stories, learn about their mistakes, and then you make progress. So learn, learn, and learn. So the attitude you need to have when you have started and then you are gradually making some progress is to learn, learn, and learn. So let me just take a quick review through these points. So the first point was that review your strategy periodically. Get feedback from both your internal and external customers. Know when to and when not to act. Respect your workforce. Scale up gradually, not in a rush. And then finally, learn, learn, and then learn. Then, attitude when all things are going on well. You're a young lady, you started a fashion business. Now you are top in town. Everybody wants to sew with you. Everybody wants to buy from your end. Your product is known all around. So many people have risen in business, and at the end, they were borrowing to survive. So what should be your attitude when all things are going on well? Now, the first point here is don't be complacent. Complacency, don't think that I am there. So now I am there. Everything is fine. This is me. No, don't be complacent. Bear in mind that as you started one day and you rose, other people would also start and they will gradually overtake you. Don't be complacent. Don't relax. Stay focused. Stay glued to the dream. The reason why you set out to do the business, stay glued to it. Don't be complacent. And as you progress, don't ignore your staff. As it said, those whom you meet whilst you climb the ladder, they will be the same you will meet while you are descending. So never ignore your staff. When there's progress, when there's development, get them also to get through with you. Then think ahead of the business and look at the next steps. The fact is that once you stop thinking, then your business will start dying. Every business is like an animate object, living being. When you stop thinking, it's just like you've taken the life out of that animate object. Gradually, it will die. So you need to think ahead. What is the next step? Okay, so now I'm a photographer. Now you know that in the past we had photographic film. Now, okay, we have digital cameras. You buy one. Now you see that people are going to the next stage. They have a studio. They are taking pictures there. Then you realize that, okay, now the next phase of the business is that I should be able to edit. There should be something you are doing about the business every day. You should think ahead of the business. Look at the next steps. You are offering a service, and then you are at one location. Now, and every business has an online platform. So do I have an online platform? No, let me get an online platform. You need to be thinking ahead in the business. Then when things are going on well, bear in mind that sometimes it might be time to diversify into other areas. The fact is that after a while, when your business has become stale or others have started similar things, the financial inflow will drop. Now, when it drops, you might not be able to survive. That is when it is good to have some few other businesses in different areas so that you can have some money from there. So we know great entrepreneurs in Ghana. We knew despite he was into the music business, he had a radio station, now he has a TV station, now he has a financial institution, he's into insurance, and all that. It's time to diversify when things are going on well. Don't be relaxed and just stay on one kind of business. Now, invest in other safer investment portfolios like bonds and treasury bills. The fact is that you need to have your money working for you whilst you are asleep. If you have some treasury bills, you have some bonds, they will give you some money when you are not, your business is not really moving on smoothly. Because at the end of the day, when the business closes, every worker would go. You'll be left with your family. Do you have what would be your daily bread? So that's why it will be relevant for you to invest in other bonds and treasury bills. Then I also say that live as if nothing has changed in your life. For most of us, the youth, once the money keeps coming, first you are using, I don't want to mention any brand of phone. You are using a phone that was worth 300 cedis. Then you started buying a phone that is worth 1,000 cedis. Then you realize that, oh, now things are good. Then you move on to a 7,000 cedi phone. Then you see that things are going on. You want to use a 10,000 cedi phone. Sometimes you even buy before the product is launched in USA. It is wiser to live as if nothing has taken place. Most of the big entrepreneurs that we know, they are using basic gadgets, basic electronic gadgets. The Bill Gates and all those, Warren Buffett, they are all using basic gadgets. They are not rushing into the things that you and I would want to spend our money on. So live as if there's nothing on you. Because the fact is that you would need to survive in the environment of entrepreneurship. Once you don't have your head on and you start misusing resources and you start behaving as if you have arrived, then one day when you go down, living would be difficult. So live as if nothing has changed in your life. Then my last point here is that learn from other successful businessmen. Like myself talking to you, I also read from the other big shots, the Dangotes and the rest. I love other writers that I read from. Napoleon Hill is an exciting reader. Think and Grow Rich. All those books are worth reading. Now the fact is that, like I said, if you are not thinking about the business, if you are not doing anything about it, the business will begin dying. There should be growth. People who were with you 2 years ago, customers who were with you 2 years ago, should come 2 years afterwards and see something new. You should always have a new thing you are bringing on board. That will make your business relevant. Because whilst you are running your business, someone is also monitoring what you are doing and wants to go and do better. So as always, you should have the next step in mind. What am I doing else? What am I adding on? What am I doing to make the business successful? If you have all these glued up in your head, then certainly from day one, when you start planning, from day one, when you start thinking through what exactly you want to do, how successful you want to be, you would have clear in your mind what the mental state should be. Very, very important. What your mental state should be before you begin, what your mental state should be whilst you are in it, what your mental state should be when you are successfully running your business. These and many other thoughts are what I want to share with you. I'm hopeful that my other speakers will throw more light on some of the things that I couldn't say, and they would also give you other information in the various topics that they have chosen. Good evening, and thanks for spending your time with me. Thank you very much. Okay, so like we agreed on the platform, we'll give some 15 minutes for question and answer. So what we do is we'll give 5 minutes, we put all the relevant questions there, then the presenter would give the answers on what he feels should be the answers to the questions that you've given. So we'll see you through the answering time. Thank you.